Welcome to Righties Rage. I came across this story on MSNBC. I believe it's on the 11th hour, the night show. And I agree with what this young man was saying.
Set this up for us. What is tomorrow going to look like for the United States of America?
It's not going to feel like America to any reasonable person who remembers whatever vision of America they were sold. All of this feels, and I think autocratic is maybe not even cutting through enough anymore. And I'll use a term that is sort of out of vogue, but I think maybe resonates. It feels third world. All of this, military parades, plus secret police disappearing people, all of this layered with what we'll get to, I'm sure, when it comes to, just the prospect of World War III. All of it feels like whatever version of America you wanted, this cannot possibly be it if you're being honest with what you signed up for when it came to patriotism. This is so deeply self-centric. The birthday salute. It's so deeply undemocratic what's happening in LA with all of the obvious motives involved. It's embarrassing stuff.
Well, let's talk about No King's Day. What has to happen, Anthony, for these protests to make an impact? How do they carry the momentum past this weekend? And by impact, I mean a positive impact for the protesters to consider it a success, not an impact that is going to be a disastrous conflict between the administration and the protesters.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just got to keep their eye on the ball.
What is the ball?
Well, I think the ball is resistance to the king-like behavior that the president is exhibiting right now, like secret police raiding, schools, and we've even just saw today for the first time a U.S. Marine detaining a U.S. citizen on U.S. soil. Those kind of images are going to last. They're going to resonate. Resistance to those images, unified resistance, law-abiding unified resistance is something that I think can resonate past this weekend. But the ball is, the thing that they're specifically saying that they're in opposition to, don't try to make the tent any smaller. Don't try to have purity tests among the activists. Just, be unified.
Colonel Jack, New York Times Pentagon correspondent said retired military officials are worried that tomorrow we could have a Tiananmen Square moment. One single protester standing in front of a tank. What is your reaction to this?
Well, it's always possible. You've got a country of 347 million people. The law of large numbers says that there's always the possibility that one or more of them are going to do something exactly like that. The thing about you're talking about the parade. I mean, I spent a lot of time in the military. I spent a lot of time in parades myself.
An important day is coming for every American with money in the markets, and it'll be here sooner than you think.
And full disclosure, I hate parades.
Why?
I hate parades. You're standing out there you got to practice forever, right? You're standing out there for a long period of time, either in the baking sun or what may be tomorrow, the pouring rain, to the aggrandizement of some high-ranking guy. And at the end of the day, you're taking time away from training to close with the enemy, to kill or capture him, which is what your job ought to be. And for an administration that prides itself on turning the military into a lean, mean fighting machine, spending any amount of time on a parade field is absolute nonsense.
The Guardian is reporting that some members of the military who are participating in the parade feel like pawns. They're not happy to be there. They're almost embarrassed, especially when you consider what's happening overseas. And we have men and women defending our country overseas.
Yeah, we have a lot of things to do.
You see, it says the morale is not great. You see that? Troops and Marines are deeply troubled by LA deployment. Morale is not great. Now, this was days before the No Kings protest. And one of the questions was, do you think it'll make a difference? Well, we have seen that it made a difference. You don't hear anyone talking positive about the military parade because they don't call it a military parade. They call it Donald Trump's Dictator Day. So we see the aftermath. The people came out. The people have spoken. It was beautiful. And I agree with everything they're saying on the panel. This is Nightcap, and this is on MSNBC. And this is another episode of Righties.